This is Luke Iorio, and here's this week's Meaningful Moment. The waiting, the gaps, the inactivity. Most of life is in between moments. We wait for the next meeting. We wait in line to get our coffee. We wait for our spouse to be ready to go out. We wait for the family party or dinner out with friends. We wait for replies from colleagues that we need to get so that we have the next piece of our work on a project we're about to complete. Some of this waiting is in anticipation. That can be a good thing. Anticipation can build our energy and our excitement. Some of this waiting feels like boredom. Like, come on already, let's go. And that type of waiting can build restlessness or anxiousness. Not quite so fun. I've been there maybe a little too often. And yet, there are those moments in between that can be like watching snowfall. There's a quiet serenity in it, a peacefulness, where we feel like this moment is enough. It doesn't need to be any more than this. It certainly isn't less. I've been the big type A driver personality for much of my life, and it still comes out quite often. I never got the benefit of the in-between times. They were inefficient. They were wastes of time when I could and I should, or you could or you should, be getting things done, to move things forward. We should use all of our waking moments to grow and produce and achieve, to move, whatever it is. Sitting still, unless I was utterly exhausted and spent, was brutal. I needed to be doing something. Even reading books was about getting ahead. I hardly read any fiction books for over a decade. I was reading 30, 40, sometimes even 50 books a year on subjects like marketing and business, money, goal achievement, finance, and any self-help book that was about helping me be better at marketing, business, money, goals. You get the picture. Even fun time was about doing it big. Going out late, getting as many friends together as we could, late night trips to Atlantic City or to New York or wherever or whatever it was, so that Sunday, late Sunday evening, you could feel like you got the absolute most out of your weekend. I was growing. I was certainly learning a ton, but I was also missing out on so much. Life was moving fast, and it was all about getting ahead. I'm not sure what exactly was the first thing that shifted my perspective on this. It started before the birth of my kids. Certainly their birth, that definitely helped. And although I still had a long way to go at that point, I know that whatever shifted was actually before that time. And as best as I can feel, it wasn't some big revelation or insight. It wasn't the wonderful science-based logical explanation of all the research showing why things like mindfulness and meditation are good for you. That wouldn't have done it. It wouldn't have convinced me. I needed to feel something. And I think the feelings that connected me to this in-between time and what it could offer, those feelings were feelings of pain, of heartache and loss. I know the times in my life that I've been knocked down to my knees. Those are the ones that have been the most profound and have helped me feel differently about life. I may have had passing thoughts about wanting to enjoy life more, to slow down and breathe a bit more deeply, but those thoughts couldn't form into beliefs until I felt something different, until I experienced something that made the belief resonate throughout my entire body and being. It's the times that I've been knocked down to my knees that have shown me what life is like when everything seems to be in slow motion. When it's in slow motion, you can see the flashes of stillness between movements. You recognize the silence that's between the notes of music. You can see the choreography of life's movements and life's moments and how they all fit together. On their own, they'd seem chaotic or even out of place, but together, they're incredible. Stillness and silence are in the space in between. Stillness allows me to appreciate each movement. And I do mean each and every movement, even the times where life is moving through pain and sadness. Stillness allows me to see the beauty in life that I might otherwise miss. I almost went to school for art instead of business, but one critical concept in art that I always remember is the concept of negative space, meaning the empty space that has nothing in it. It's that negative space that surrounds and gives an object its form, as well as its beauty. Life is like that too. It's the empty space and times, and even the negative ones, that give the rest of our lives so much meaning and context and beauty. Stillness is what you can find in the space in between if you choose. And in the midst of that stillness, as silence begins to creep in, you'll begin to hear an inner voice, an inner wisdom that you can't hear otherwise. When I was too busy, the only voice I was hearing was constantly saying, go, do more, be more. What it was really saying, until you do more, go more, be more, what it was saying was that you're not enough, that this moment isn't enough, you're not enough until would never come because the voice would never quiet. When I found stillness, typically it was my knees on the floor, my heart asking for a moment to just be, my eyes and ears noticing the smallest and quietest of movements and sounds, and how each arose from stillness and silence. That was when the moment, the experience, was enough. And in that moment, I became enough. I have an exercise for you, and I really hope that you'll follow through and do it. The best way I can explain it is actually from something someone told me to do on my wedding day. They said, listen, your wedding day is going to be beyond busy. The day is going to move faster than you could imagine. So at some point during the recession, take Dawn, my wife, by the hand and step back. Just look around the room. Look at the faces and the smiles and the eyes of everyone there. Hear the music and the laughter and the chatter. Feel the dancing and the movement, the love and the connectedness. Smell the food and the flowers. Just take it all in just for a moment. I've taken that practice into my life and into most of my days. I try at least just once a day, a couple times if I can, to do this. To step back for just a moment and breathe it in. To breathe in the stillness and the silence. To listen to the near and distant sounds. To hear the rhythm of my own breathing. And as it slows and deepens, as you get aware of the rhythm of your own breathing, allow your awareness of it to deepen as well. Reflect on what you're grateful for at that moment or in that day. Fully feel the gratitude that comes up. Reflect on any moments of peace or connection or joy or satisfaction. Feel those feelings and just breathe them in. Take just 2 to 3 minutes, and then when you're ready, lean back into your day. You can consider this like a mini workout. Ultimately, the more you do it, the stronger you're going to get to connecting to the stillness and the peace that is always there. The more that you do it, the easier it is to remember what truly matters and keep it front and center for your heart and for your mind. It's a simple exercise that you can do the more that you practice it while standing in line for coffee, while waiting for a colleague to get back to you, while waiting for the next meeting or conference call to begin, while waiting for your kid to be done with their latest practice or event. You can do it in the moments in between. And when you do it in these moments, you'll recognize the beauty that is contained in the empty space, the pauses that are created by the in-between. I hope you're going to enjoy that exercise this week and even well beyond this. Until our next moment together, much love.